Good morning, Mason. Hey, I'm here in Washington, D.C. at the National Cathedral. It is one of the biggest churches you'll ever see. Take a look how big that building is. Wow, it's huge. Anyways, I'm going to take you on a little tour of the cathedral. I'll show you some of the cool windows. I'll take you up at the top for a view of the city, down into the crypt. It's going to be a good time, so look forward to walking through the cathedral with you. So Mason, this is one of the altars that is in the church, this big gold altar. The main altar, in fact, you can hear the construction. They're working on the organ up in there, and so that part's closed, but this is one of the big gold altars that's at the church. All right, Mason, we're going down into the crypt, which is the room underneath the altar of the church. Sometimes there's people that have memorials down here, things like that. So we'll see what we find when we go down into the basement of the church. It's a long ways down, lots and lots of stairs. Almost to the bottom. Almost to the bottom. There we go. We're at the bottom. So Mason, I found another chapel down in the basement of the church. It's a lot quieter down here. Take a look at this room. All those columns. There's the altar at the top front of the chapel, and all the seats where people sit. It's a really cool building. Yeah. So that's one of the chapels that's down here. Oh, and over here, look, there's the pipe organ and there's a piano there too. So they can play music while they're having chapel down here. Really cool. So Mason, here are pictures that are made out of little tiny squares of ceramic tile. I'll show you a closer view of what it looks like. So Mason, you can see the picture. It looks like a picture, but look when we get closer what it's really made out of. Made out of little tiny squares of ceramic. They're all shiny in different colors, and when you put them all together, it makes a really cool picture. And this chapel that I'm in now is lined with these, what they call mosaics, all over. Here's the chapel. And here's one more mosaic. Look at that, really cool. All right, let's keep walking. Well, Mason, here we are in what's called the St. Joseph Chapel. There's lots of chapels down here in the crypt. So let's take a look at the altar here. It has a huge painting, look at that. And it's made with gold. There's all that gold on it. It's really beautiful. But that's the St. Joseph Chapel. I think it's after the guy in the Bible by the name of Joseph of Arimathea. That was what this chapel's named after. But it's a really beautiful space. So Mason, there are a lot of seats in this church. And these are the seats where oftentimes the heads of state, President of the United States, and a lot of important people will sit when there's a service at the church. So in just a second, I'll sit down where some of the presidents have sat. I'll show you, but these are the seats where all the important people sit when they come to church here in the cathedral. And you can see how big this church is. Look at how big this place is. Wow. All right, Mason, so I'm sitting in one of the seats where probably President Biden, maybe President Obama before sat, President Bush, whoever, some of the big important people would have sat in these seats. And that's where I'm sitting now. Hey, Mason, one of the things that you do when you come to a chapel is you light a candle to remember somebody. So you give a $1 offering and you light a candle. So here we go. So the candle that I'm going to light is going to be in memory of your great-grandpa Fisher, who passed away just last week. There we go. And there's my candle that I lit. Mason, one of the things that this church is known for is its beautiful stained glass windows. And one of my favorite windows is this window right here. It's called the space window. It has planets and stars and moons in it, and it's really, really a cool window. Another window that's really well known is the window that's at the very back of the church, and it's known as the rose window. It kind of looks like a rose, but look how beautiful that window is. It's made out of little pieces of glass that have been colored and all put together to make that beautiful pattern. There's the rose window. All right, Mason, we're in the elevator. We're going up to the 7th floor, which is the observation gallery, and we're going to get a view of Washington, D.C. from the very top of the Capitol. All right, here we go. We're on our way up. 5th floor, 6th, actually that's the 5th floor, 6th floor, 7th floor. Okay, here we go. This gives you an idea, Mason, what it looks like inside the tower. We're up at the top of the tower, walking around, looking out the windows to see what we can see. I'll show you some views. We should get a view of downtown Washington, D.C. I'll show that to you in a second. Okay, Mason, here's downtown Washington, D.C. That tall spire right there is the Washington Monument. And then if we go down, actually, let's go this way. There's the Jefferson Memorial right there in the center. So we'll go back, there's the Washington Monument. And down the other end of the mall, coming up here in just a second, is the Capitol. There's the Capitol of the United States, right there in the center. That's downtown Washington, D.C. We're not gonna get to go there today, I didn't have enough time, but this at least gets us close. All right, Mason, this is another view of the outside of the cathedral looking from the tower. We are a long ways up, and this is a big, big church. It's not like a little church you'd see in town somewhere. Those, what they call flying buttresses there, that kind of those columns that go up against the wall, they actually hold the wall up and keep the church from falling down. Pretty cool building. And you can see at the top that they're doing some work. There was an earthquake here several years ago, and so they're doing some repair work on the cathedral. Pretty cool. Let's go outside and see what's outside. Well, Mason, I wanted to have you get a sense of the scale of this church. As I'm walking down the center aisle, you're gonna see just how big this place is. It's 95 feet to the ceiling, which is way up above me. There you can see the ceiling. And I'm walking down the center aisle, and it is very, very big church. A lot bigger than any church I've ever pastored and ever will pastor. There is the cathedral. Pretty cool. All right, let's go outside and see what we can see. Okay, Mason, we're outside the cathedral. I wanted to show you what holds the walls up. You can see that, well, it's right there. That big column goes up and then it attaches to the walls of the cathedral way up top. Those are called flying buttresses, and that's what holds the wall up. They have so many stained glass windows. If they didn't do that, the church would fall over pretty silly, but that's the way it was built. All right, Mason, we're standing outside the front doors of the church. Look at those doors. There's a big carving up above the door. I want to give you a sense of just how big this church is. We're going to go down the stairs, and we're just going to walk across the driveway here, looking both ways for cars, of course. And whoa, it's windy. You'll see just how big this church is. It's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. I dare say this is the biggest church that you've ever seen. Take a look. Boy, look how big that church is. Almost you can see the whole thing now. Look at this. There it is. Wow. That is so big. Pretty amazing. Well, it's been fun today. Hope you had a good time. And maybe sometime fun places. We have lots of fun. We'd love to have you along. Have a great day, Mason. Let me